let us check out the various features of the Indian Constitution by which we can say that कि Indian Constitution is a federal structure. So over here once again we are going to revise the features of the Indian Constitution, but we have divided those features into two major parts. Very first part will the federal features and the second part will be the unitary features. Clear? So let us check out कि कौन कौन से जो फीचर्स हैं जिनको हम फेडरल फीचर्स बोल सकते हैं. सो लेट अस गो थ्रू द फेडरल फीचर्स. वेरी फर्स्ट फीचर इज द ड्यूअल पॉलिटी. नाउ द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन establishes a dual polity consisting the union at the center and the states at the periphery. The Indian Constitution has assigned various matters जिसको हम subjects बोलते हैं to the each of the government, यानी कि सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के लिए अलग से सब्जेक्ट्स अवेलेबल हैं एज वेल एज द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स के लिए अलग से सब्जेक्ट अवेलेबल हैं, एंड दे आर गिवन बाय द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इटसेल्फ. And each government is empowered to exercise in the field assigned to the each of them respectively by the constitution. Like union government deals with the matters of the national defense, foreign affairs, currency, communication, and there are numbers of subjects available, and basically they are the subject of the national importance. Okay, and in the other end the state government looks after the matters like public order, agriculture, health, local government, and so on. Basically all these subjects are the matters of regional and the local importance. So basically we are having a dual polity, which is a federal feature which gives some of the matters to the central government, some of the matters to the state government, and they are empowered to create laws and they are empowered to exercise them on their own region. The second federal feature is we are having the written constitution. As we discussed in the difference between federal government and the unitary government, the written constitution was one of the main feature of the federal system. And as we discussed earlier, the constitution is not only written in India, but it is also one of the lengthiest constitution in the world. And originally it contained a preamble as well as 395 articles divided into 22 parts and the 8 schedules. And as of now, by the end of the January 25, 2020, where the 104th amendment happened, we are having the Indian Constitution with 448 articles, 25 parts, and total 12 schedules. Now, Indian Constitution specifies the structure, organization, power, and function of the both the central government as well as the state government, and prescribes the limits within which they must operate. Thus, it avoids the misunderstanding and the misleading data as well as the disagreement between the state and the center. That's why in the federal system the written constitution is must. The third main federal feature is the division of the powers. As we discussed in the first feature, the Indian Constitution has divided all the powers between the state, the government in terms of the union list, state list, and the concurrent lists. Now, what do you mean by concurrent list now? The concurrent list is the list where the center as well as states can make their laws by own. And this set of division of power is available in the 7th schedule of the Indian Constitution, which describes about the various powers assigned to each government. So as per the 7th schedule, the union list, that is the central list, consists of total 100 subjects. Now originally when the constitution was written, there were total 97 subjects. The state list consists of total 61 subjects. When the constitution was written, there were originally total 66 subjects, and there is a concurrent list of 52 subjects, and originally there were total 47 subjects in the 1950s. Now both center and the states can make laws on the subject of the concurrent list. Okay, so whatever the 52 subjects available, the union has the authority to create laws on that, as well as the state has authority to create laws on that. But in case of the conflict, the central law prevails, means the central decisions are superior than the states. Now, other than that, there are some residuary subjects. Now, all these residuary subjects are given to the central. Now, what do you mean by the residuary subjects? The subjects which are not mentioned in any of the three list. यानी कि कोई भी सब्जेक्ट इन तीन लिस्ट में कंसीडर ना किया गया है, तो इन दैट केस दैट विल बी नोन एज रेसिड्यूरी सब्जेक्ट एंड दैट सब्जेक्ट विल बी गिवन टू द सेंट्रल. The next important federal feature is the supremacy of the constitution. Okay, कोई भी फेडरल सिस्टम होगी उनमें कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन सुप्रीम होगा. द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन is the highest law of the land for any federal system, and any law or the act or the policies that are enacted by the central यानी कि national government or the state government must conform to its provisions. Okay, अगर वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के हिसाब से नहीं बने हैं, in that case they can be declared invalid by the Supreme Court or the High Court through their power of judicial reviews. That's why the organs of the government, जिनको हमने चैप्टर 1 में पढ़ा था, that are the legislative, executive and the judicial, at the both levels must have operate within the jurisdiction prescribed by the constitution. So ultimately we can say that the constitution of any federal system is the supreme power of that country. Now, to maintain the supremacy of the constitution, the amendment system of the constitution must be rigid. Hence, the constitution is made rigid to extend that those provisions which are concerned with the federal structure, यानी कि the features like relationship between the center and the state, judicial recognition, this kind of features can be amended only by the joint action of the central and the state governments only. ओके, सो सभी फीचर्स जो कि फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर्स को बिलोंग करते हैं, उनके रिगार्डिंग जो भी अमेंडमेंट्स हैं उनके लिए जॉइंट एक्शन की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी. विदाउट द परमिशन ऑफ द स्टेट एज वेल एज द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, इट इज़ नॉट पॉसिबल टू अमेंड एनी प्रोविजन ऑफ फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर पार्ट्स. क्लियर? एंड if the government want to amend such kind of provisions, then for their amendment a special majority of the parliament is required, and also the approval of half of the state legislature is required. Now, what do you mean by the special majority? The special majority is basically defined in article number 249, which state that the special majority is the majority of the 2/3 of the members. 2/3 of the members presenting and the voting in the parliament. यानी कि अगर 2/3 of the member जो present है उनमें से positive vote करें, in that case only that amendment will be successful. So this feature of the special majority system for the amendment makes constitution more and more rigid. Apart from the rigid constitution, there is one more feature that is necessary for the federal system and to maintain the supremacy of the constitution, and that is the independent judiciary. Now, the constitution establishes an independent judiciary headed by the Supreme Court for the two purposes. So basically, the supreme power in the judiciary is the Supreme Court, and the judiciary is independent because of these purposes. Very first purpose is to protect the supremacy of the constitution, as we discussed. How they will maintain the supremacy of the constitution? The court has power to exercise the judicial review. यानी कि अगर कोई लॉज या फिर एक्ट्स बनते हैं और अगर वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के अगेंस्ट में हैं, in that case, Supreme Court as well as the different kinds of courts available under the Supreme Court has the authority for the judicial review, and they can declare any act or law as unconstitutional on basis of the Indian Constitution and the judicial review. And the second important purpose of having the independent judiciary is to settle the dispute between the center and the states. अगर सेंटर गवर्नमेंट और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के बीच में कोई भी डिस्प्यूट्स होते हैं, इन दैट केस द कोर्ट हैज पावर टू सेटल दोस काइंड ऑफ डिस्प्यूट्स. नाउ एज द जुडिशरी इज इंडिपेंडेंट, the constitution has given some of the measures to control judiciary also. The constitution contains various measures like security of the tenure of judges, the fixed service condition, and so on, to make the judiciary independent to the government as well as to control the judiciary, so that the judiciary also cannot go beyond the constitution. The next feature that resembles the federal system is the bicameral feature of the India. As we discussed earlier, we are having the bicameral legislature in the India. The Indian Constitution provides the upper house, that is also known as the Rajya Sabha, and the lower house, that is known as Lok Sabha. Now over here the Rajya Sabha represents the states, यानी कि provinces को represent करता है for the Indian Federation, as well as the Lok Sabha, that is a lower house that represents the people of India as a whole. यानी कि हमारे रिप्रेजेंटेटिव जो कि हमने इलेक्ट किए हैं वो लोकसभा में जाते हैं और वो लोग हमें रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं, पीपल ऑफ इंडिया को रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं. सो रिमेंबर द मेजर डिफरेंस बिटवीन लोकसभा एंड राज्यसभा. द राज्यसभा रिजेंबल यानी कि रिप्रेजेंट्स द स्टेट्स, व्हेन द लोकसभा रिप्रेजेंट द पीपल ऑफ इंडिया. एंड we discussed in the earlier lectures that Rajya Sabha is basically a less powerful house, but it is still required one, because it is required to maintain the federal equilibrium by protecting the interest of the various states against the undue interference of the center. अगर कंट्री यानी कि नेशनल गवर्नमेंट किसी भी स्टेट के साथ यानी कि किसी भी राज्य के साथ कोई इनजस्टिस करती है, इन दैट केस राज्यसभा इज द वन वेर यू कैन रिप्रेजेंट योर स्टेट. दैट्स व्हाई इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सो दीज आर द बेसिक फीचर्स दैट resembles the federal system in the India. So these all are the federal features. Now, although we are having the federal features, there are also some unitary features in the Indian Constitution, as we discussed earlier. We are not totally federal system. We are the union of states. Okay. So basically there are numbers of unitary features available in the Indian Constitution. We can also take them as a non-federal features in the Indian Constitution. So instead of unitary features, we can also take them as a non-federal features. Non-federal features. Clear? So the very first feature is we are having the very strong center. The division of the power is in the favor of the center and the highly inequitable from the federal angle. अगर हम फेडरल एंगल से सोचें तो फेडरल सिस्टम में क्या होता है कि स्टेट के पास अपने पावर होते हैं और कंट्री के पास अपने पावर होते हैं. स्टेट इज टोटली ऑटोनोमस. बट ओवर हियर वी आर हैविंग अ फेडरल सिस्टम, बट स्टिल वी आर हैविंग अ स्ट्रॉन्गर सेंटर, which is totally opposite of the federal system. Okay, so we can say that the constitution framers are highly biased towards the central powers. Now the question is, how we can say that the center has more power? The answer can be given by these four reasons where the division of power is in favor of the center. Very first reason, the union list contains more subject than the state lists. That means they have more control over different acts. Secondly, the more important subjects have been included in the union list. They are not included in the state list, they are included in the union list. Thirdly, the center has overriding authority over the concurrent list. Concurrent list को हमने लास्ट सेक्शन में पढ़ा था. कॉन्करेंट लिस्ट में क्या होता है, देर आर सब्जेक्ट्स जिन पे सेंट्रल भी अपने लॉज बना सकती हैं और स्टेट्स भी अपने लॉज बना सकते हैं. बट एज वी डिस्कस, इफ द सेंटर एंड द स्टेट मेक्स द लॉज ऑन द सेम सब्जेक्ट, द सेंट्रल लॉज विल ओवरराइड द स्टेट सब्जेक्ट्स. यानी कि अगर कोई भी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होता है तो सेंट्रल लॉज की इंपॉर्टेंस ज्यादा होगी. So that is also one biased feature towards the central. And finally, the residuary powers have also been left with the center. यानी कि जो भी सब्जेक्ट्स स्टेट सब्जेक्ट्स, कॉन्करेंट सब्जेक्ट और कंट्री सब्जेक्ट्स में मेंशन्ड नहीं है, उन सभी सब्जेक्ट्स पे लॉज बनाने की ऑथोरिटी किनके पास है? टुवर्ड्स द सेंटर. नाउ इफ यू चेक आउट द यूएस सिस्टम, दे आर वेस्टेड इन द स्टेट्स. यानी कि यूएस सिस्टम में स्टेट्स के पास रेसिड्यू सब्जेक्ट्स के लॉज बनाने की ऑथोरिटी है. दस द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन हैज मेड द सेंटर वेरी स्ट्रांग. द सेकेंड यूनिटरी फीचर is the states are not indestructible. Unlike in the other federations, the states in India have no right to the territorial integrity. So the states cannot change their areas, they cannot expand their area, they cannot reduce their area, they cannot change their boundary, even they cannot change their names also. All this authority is given to the parliament only, that means the central government only. Moreover, the central government or say parliamentary system requires only a simple majority system, not even a special majority to do all these things. यानी कि अगर किसी भी स्टेट का पार्लियामेंट को नाम चेंज करना है तो सिंपल मेजोरिटी से उनका नाम चेंज हो सकता है. Now, what do you mean by the simple majority? Simple majority refers to the majority of more than 50% who are presenting and voting in the house. That's why the Indian Federation is known as an indestructible union of destructible states. That means the states can be destructed, यानी कि states को फिर से reorganize किया जा सकता है, but the union is totally indestructible. That means the India को कोई भी change नहीं कर सकता. In the other hand, if we talk about the American Federation, यानी कि USA की बात करें, in that case they described their nation as indestructible union of indestructible states. यानी कि अमेरिका में आप स्टेट्स को भी चेंज नहीं कर सकते एज वेल एज द यूनियन यानी कि कंप्लीट यूएसए को भी चेंज नहीं कर सकते हो. So this is one of the non-federal or say unitary features of our Indian Constitution. The next unitary feature is the single constitution. Usually in a federation types of system, the states are having the right to frame their own constitution. So basically states can frame their own constitution separately from the center. Center का अपना एक अलग से constitution होगा, state का अपना अलग से constitution होगा. But in India, on the contrary side, no such powers are given to the states. ओके सो बेसिकली स्टेट्स अपने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बना नहीं सकते. सेकेंडली इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन एम्बॉडीज बोथ स्टेट्स एज वेल एज द सेंटर. इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में स्टेट्स का भी डेटा गिवन है एज वेल एज द सेंटर का भी डेटा गिवन है. ओके सो ओनली वन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज अवेलेबल फॉर बोथ. सो वी कैन से दैट द होल स्टेट सेक्शन एज वेल एज द नेशनल सेक्शन इज गिवन इन अ सिंगल फ्रेम ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. There is no need to create another framing for the states. And lastly, the only exception in this regards was the case of Jammu and Kashmir, which had its own constitution. यानी कि उनका अलग से अपने स्टेट के लिए अलग से constitution था. But as we know, it is now completely removed on the 6th of August 2019. So there is no case or say there is no exception in the Indian Constitution. The next is the flexibility of the Constitution. Now over here we are talking about the flexibility of the Constitution. In the previous section we discussed about the rigidity of the Constitution. This may create a confusion in your mind, but remember that the federal features of the Indian Constitution are made very rigid. So there is a different type of amendment system for those features available, as well as in the other hand we are having a normal amendment system also. So we are having the blend of the rigid constitution as well as the flexible constitution. So we can say that the process of constitutional amendment is less rigid than found in the other federal systems. The bulk of the constitution can be amended by the unilateral action of the parliament, either by the simple majority or by the special majority. And further, the power to initiate the amendment to the constitution lies only to the center. In the other hand, if we talk about the USA, the states can also propose the amendment to the constitution. The next unitary feature is the no equality of the state representation. Now, why I am saying that? Because the states are given representation in the Rajya Sabha on the basis of the population. जिन स्टेट्स की पॉपुलेशन ज़्यादा होगी उनके मेंबर्स राज्यसभा में ज़्यादा होंगे. फॉर एन एग्जांपल यहाँ पे एक लिस्ट गिवन है. यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो कि उत्तर प्रदेश के जो मेंबर्स हैं वो है 31 बिकॉज द पॉपुलेशन ऑफ द यूपी इज मोर. इन द अदर हैंड द गुजरात इज हैविंग टोटल 11 राज्यसभा सीट्स और गोवा की आप बात करो तो गोवा की सिर्फ एक ही सीट अवेलेबल है. सो बेसिकली इन इंडिया वी आर हैविंग the representation of the states based on the population of that particular state. If we talk about the United States, in the other hand, the principle of equality of representation of the state in the upper house is fully recognized. आपको शायद पता होगा, the Rajya Sabha is known as American Senate in the US. Okay, it has total 100 members. And total 50 states are there, and for each state there are total 2 members in the Senate. यानी कि हर एक स्टेट के टोटल 2 members and टोटल हो गए आपके 100 members. Okay, so equal representation of state is there. Now we may think that कि our system is also proper because we are having population based representation, यानी कि जिनकी population ज़्यादा होगी उनको ज़्यादा representation मिलेगा. But think like दिस ऑल्सो कि जिनकी पॉपुलेशन कम होगी उनको रिप्रेजेंटेशन कम मिलेगा, यानी कि उनको सेफगार्ड करने के चांसेस कम मिलेंगे. दिस इज ऑल्सो द वे ऑफ थिंकिंग. क्लियर? सो ओवर हियर इन दैट पर्टिकुलर सेंस द टाइटल इज गिवन नो इक्वालिटी ऑफ द स्टेट रिप्रेजेंटेशन. स्टेट को रिप्रेजेंटेशन की इक्वालिटी नहीं है, यहां पे पॉपुलेशन को रिप्रेजेंटेशन की इक्वालिटी गिवन है. Clear? So this is one of the unitary feature of the Indian Constitution. Other than that, our Constitution provides the emergency provisions. We will discuss them later in a very detail, but over here we will go through the brief. The Indian Constitution stipulates 3 types of emergency. Very first is the national emergency, second is the state emergency, which is also known as a presidential rule, and third is the financial emergency. Now, during an emergency, a central government becomes all powerful and the state goes into the total control of the center. स्टेट के पास कोई भी पावर नहीं रहती, सभी पावर सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के पास चली जाती है. नाउ इट कन्वर्ट्स federal structure into a unitary one without any kind of formal amendment in the constitution, and this kind of transformation is never found in any kind of the federal systems. कोई भी फेडरल सिस्टम्स को आप पकड़ लो, कोई भी कंट्री पकड़ लो जो फेडरल सिस्टम को फॉलो करती है, उस कंट्री में इस टाइप की इमरजेंसी प्रोविजन कहीं पे भी मेंशन नहीं है. सो दिस इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द नॉन फेडरल फीचर्स विच is given in the Indian Constitution. Other than that, we are having a single citizenship rule. In spite of the dual polity, the Constitution of the India, like that of the Canada, adopted the system of the single citizenship. यानी कि state citizenship अलग नहीं होगी, national citizenship अलग नहीं होगी. For both, we are getting a single citizenship, the national citizenship. There is only one Indian citizenship is available. There is no separate citizenship for the states, and all citizens, irrespective of the state in which they are born or reside, enjoy the same rights all over the country. आप इंडिया में कहीं पे भी चले जाओ, the same rights will be there for an Indian citizens. The other federal state like USA, Switzerland, Australia have a dual citizenship system. There is a national citizenship available as well as there is a state citizenship. But in India, we are having a single citizenship, which is a very unique and the unitary feature of the Indian Constitution. The next feature is the integrated judiciary system. Now, Indian Constitution has established an integrated judiciary system with the highest power of the Supreme Court, and there are high courts under the Supreme Courts, and there are numbers of subordinate courts available under the High Court. अगर आपको जस्टिस चाहिए तो आप डायरेक्टली सबऑर्डिनेट कोर्ट में जा सकते हो, और यू कैन गो टू द हाई कोर्ट, और आपको फर्दर अपील करनी है तो इन दैट केस सबऑर्डिनेट कोर्ट का डेटा आप हाई कोर्ट में फॉरवर्ड कर सकते हो, अपील कर सकते हो, फर्दर अपील आप सुप्रीम कोर्ट में भी कर सकते हो, एंड फॉर द मैनी केसेस यू कैन डायरेक्टली अपील टू द सुप्रीम कोर्ट लाइक वी सॉ फॉर द फंडामेंटल राइट्स। क्लियर? अगर आपको फंडामेंटल राइट्स के रिलेवेंट कोई भी अपील करनी हो तो आप डायरेक्टली सुप्रीम कोर्ट में भी कर सकते हो। As well as all three courts are integrated together, as well as they are independent from the parliamentary system, and this single system of the court enforces to the both सेंट्रल लेवल एज वेल एज द स्टेट लेवल, यानी कि वो सेंट्रल लॉस पे भी जस्टिस देगी एज वेल एज द स्टेट लॉस पे भी जस्टिस देगी। इट इज नॉट लाइक कि अगर कोई भी लॉ कंट्री ने बनाया हो, यानी कि सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने बनाया हो, तो आपको सिर्फ सुप्रीम कोर्ट में ही उसका जस्टिस मिलेगा। इट इज नॉट लाइक दैट। अगर आप कोई भी हाई कोर्ट में भी चले जाओगे तो इन दैट केस आपको हाई कोर्ट में भी सेंट्रल लॉ के हिसाब से जस्टिस मिल सकता है। बट इफ यू टॉक अबाउट यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स यानी कि अमेरिका की बात करें तो इन द अदर हैंड देयर इज अ डबल सिस्टम ऑफ द कोर्ट वेयर बाय द फेडरल लॉज आर एनफोर्स्ड बाय द फेडरल जुडिशियरी, यानी कि अगर कोई भी लॉ सेंट्रल ने इंप्लीमेंट किए हैं तो उसके लिए आपको सेंट्रल जुडिशियरी के पास जाना पड़ेगा, एंड द स्टेट लॉज आर जस्टिफाइड बाय द स्टेट जुडिशियरी, यानी कि अगर आपको स्टेट लॉज के बेसिस पे जस्टिस चाहिए तो इन दैट केस यू हैव टू गो टू द स्टेट जुडिशियरी। इंडिया में ऐसी कोई सिस्टम नहीं है। आपको स्टेट लॉज के बेसिस पे जस्टिस चाहिए या फिर सेंट्रल लॉज के बेसिस पे जस्टिस चाहिए, आपके पास सिंगल सिस्टम ऑफ द कोर्ट है। आप किसी भी कोर्ट में अपील कर सकते हो, एंड फॉर द फर्दर जस्टिस यू कैन गो टू द हायर एंड हायर कोर्ट अप टू द सुप्रीम कोर्ट। सो दिस इज अ वेरी यूनिक एंड द यूनिटरी फीचर ऑफ द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। The next feature is the All India Services. If we compare it with US, in the USA, the federal government and the state governments have their separate public services. यानी कि हमारे पास जो IAS, IPS, IFS की जो सर्विसेज हैं वो सर्विसेज यूएसए में भी अवेलेबल है, लेकिन सेंट्रल की अलग से सर्विस अवेलेबल है और स्टेट्स की अलग से सर्विस अवेलेबल है। जब हम इंडिया की बात करते हैं, इन द इंडिया also we are having the central services as well as the state services that represent center as well as the state, but addition to that we are also having the all India services. We are having IAS, IPS, IFS and lot more services which are very common to both central as well as the state. यानी कि जो एम्प्लॉइज IAS, IPS और IFS जैसी सर्विसेज में सिलेक्ट होते हैं बाय द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, दे ऑल्सो सर्व टू द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ द सेंटर. So basically we can say that the members of this all India services are recruited, trained and work for the center, but they work in the various states. So they represents the center in the states. So we can say that all these all India services basically violating the principle of the federalism under the Indian Constitution. But still, this is one of the very unique and unitary feature of the Indian Constitution. Not only all India services, other than that we are having the integrated audit machinery also. In India, we are having the office of CAG, that is the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Now, this CAG audits the accounts of not only the central government, but also the accounts of state governments. आपको शायद पता होगा, जो भी अकाउंट्स के रिलेवेंट वर्क करते हो उनको पता होगा कि ऑडिटर जनरल का काम क्या होता है कि वो फाइनेंशियल अकाउंट्स को देखता है. सो बेसिकली द CAG, ऑफिस ऑफ CAG ऑडिट्स द अकाउंट्स. वो चेक करती है कि वेदर द फाइनेंशियल अकाउंट्स आर बैलेंस और नॉट, एंड दिस इज डन बाय द CAG at the central level also and the state level also. And let me tell you one more thing, CAG body, the Comptroller General of India body, is an independent body and is appointed and the removed by the President of India only, and there is no consultancy given by the states. Okay, state कोई भी consultancy नहीं देता इनके बारे में. Hence the office restricts the financial autonomy of the states. In the other hand, if we talk about the US, the America, the Comptroller General, on the contrary, has no role with respect to the accounts of the states. The next feature, which is unitary, is the Parliament's authority over the states list. हमने जो बात की थी, देयर आर टोटल 3 लिस्ट अवेलेबल सब्जेक्ट्स के बारे में. एक स्टेट का लिस्ट अवेलेबल होता है जिन पे स्टेट लॉज बनाता है, एक सेंट्रल लिस्ट अवेलेबल होता है और एक कॉन्करेंट लिस्ट होता है. नाउ व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द स्टेट लिस्ट, even there is a limited sphere of the authority allotted to the states. The state has no exclusive control over the subjects allotted to them. Now what do you mean by that? Because the parliament is empowered to legislate any of the state subject of the state list in the national interest. यानी कि नेशनल इंटरेस्ट के नाम पर कोई भी स्टेट के लिस्ट के सब्जेक्ट्स पर कोई भी पार्लियामेंट अपने लॉज बना सकती है. क्लियर? सो दिस इज व्हाट इज द यूनिटरी फीचर और से सेंट्रल बायस फीचर ऑफ द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. And there is one more interesting thing that you should notice, that it is not necessary that there should be a national emergency or there is no any special amendment system available for such thing. यानी कि अगर पार्लियामेंट को स्टेट लिस्ट पे लॉज बनाने हैं, इन दैट केस कोई नेशनल इमरजेंसी या फिर कोई स्पेशल अमेंडमेंट की भी जरूरत नहीं है. ओके, वो नॉर्मल सिचुएशन पे भी बना सकते हैं. सो दिस इज व्हाट मेक्स आवर इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन यूनिटरी. The next thing is the appointment of the governor. Now, who is the governor? Governor is the head of the state, जो states को represent करता है. Now, the governor is the independent person and it is appointed by the president of India. He holds the office during the pleasure of the president and he also acts as an agent of the center. Okay, he acts as a agent of the center and through him the center exercise the control over the states. If we talk about the federal system, if we talk about American Constitution, on the contrary, it provides for the elected head in the state. The next important unitary feature is the integrated election machinery. The Election Commission of India, इस फोटो का आपने कई बार देखा होगा इन द न्यूज चैनल्स. ओके, विच इज द इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया, विच इज एन इंडिपेंडेंट बॉडी एज पर द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. द इलेक्शन कमीशन कंडक्ट्स द इलेक्शन नॉट ओनली इन द सेंट्रल लेजिस्लेचर बट इट ऑल्सो कंडक्ट्स इलेक्शन इन द स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर्स. यानी कि इलेक्शन का कंप्लीट कंट्रोल इलेक्शन ऑफ कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया के पास है, यानी कि सेंटर के पास है. But this election commission is an independent body as we discussed earlier. It is constituted by the president and the state has no say on this matter. And the president has complete control on the position of the election commission of the India. He can remove, he can appoint any member of the election commission of the India. Now, in the other hand, if we talk about the United States, it has a separate machinery for the conduction of the election at the federal and the state levels. यानी कि फेडरल सेक्शन यानी कि सेंट्रल पावर के लिए भी अलग से इलेक्शन कमेटी है और स्टेट लेवल्स के लिए भी अलग से इलेक्शन कमेटी है. इन इंडिया वी आर हैविंग द इंटीग्रेटेड इलेक्शन सिस्टम. The next unitary feature is the veto over the state bills. In the previous section, we studied about the governor, who is the head of the state. Now, this governor is empowered to reserve certain types of bills passed by the state legislature for the consideration of the president. यानी कि अगर कोई बिल गवर्नर को लगता है कि that should be considered टू द प्रेसिडेंट, यानी कि प्रेसिडेंट को उसको देखना चाहिए एक बार और कंसिडर करना चाहिए, देयर शुड बी सम मॉडिफिकेशन. इन दैट केस द गवर्नर हैज द पावर टू पास दैट बिल टू द प्रेसिडेंट एंड द प्रेसिडेंट कैन withhold his assets to such bill not only for the first instance but also for the second instance. That's why we can say that the president enjoys the absolute veto over the state bills. Okay, सो बेसिकली अगर कोई स्टेट बिल्स भी अवेलेबल है वो भी प्रेसिडेंट के पास यानी कि हाईएस्ट अथॉरिटी ऑफ द कंट्री के पास जा सकते हैं एंड प्रेसिडेंट उनको दो बार के लिए विथहोल्ड कर सकता है, अटका सकता है. बट रिमेंबर वन मोर थिंग, द प्रेसिडेंट हैज नो सस्पेंसिव वीटो, यानी कि गवर्नर या फिर प्रेसिडेंट कोई भी बिल को सस्पेंड या फिर कैंसिल नहीं कर सकता. He has the veto to withhold that bill, or say he can tell some of the modification to the bills, but he has no suspensive veto power. Now on the contrary, when we talk about the federal states, यानी कि यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स की बात करें, ऑस्ट्रेलिया की बात करें, the states are basically autonomous within their fields, and there is no such thing like a veto power or say reservation for the president. And over here I want to add one more thing. The state government or say state legislature does not have the authority to remove certain key government officials, even at the state level, like the election commissioner of the state, judges of the high court, or say the chairman of the state public service commission. So we can say that as per the Indian constitution, the states are binded in a very limited sphere. The more authority goes to the central power. Okay, जो भी गवर्नमेंट सेंटर में होगी उनके पास ज्यादा अथॉरिटी होगी. जो भी चीजें लोकसभा और राज्यसभा में होती है वो स्टेट लेवल पे नहीं हो सकती. एडिशनली द सेंटर कैन आल्सो डू द स्टेट लेवल थिंग्स. सो ऑल दिस फीचर्स दैट गिव्स द मोर कंट्रोल टू द सेंटर आर नोन एज द यूनिटरी फीचर्स ऑफ द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. सो अगर आपको याद रखना है कि कौन कौन से फीचर्स फेडरल में आएंगे और कौन कौन से फीचर्स यूनिटरी में आएंगे, तो सिंपली एक चीज याद रखिए, जो भी फीचर्स इक्वल पावर प्रोवाइड करते हैं नेशन और स्टेट्स को, वो सभी फीचर्स फेडरल में आएंगे, और जो भी फीचर्स स्टेट को कम पावर्स प्रोवाइड करते हैं और सेंटर को ज्यादा पावर प्रोवाइड करते हैं, वो सभी फीचर्स आपके यूनिटरी यानी कि नॉन फेडरल फीचर्स में आएंगे. एज वेल एज सेकेंडली आपको डिफ्रेंशिएट करना है, तो प्लीज रिमेंबर द डिफरेंस बिटवीन यूनिटरी सिस्टम एज वेल एज द फेडरल सिस्टम. उससे आपको पता चल जाएगा कि कौन कौन से फीचर्स यूनिटरी में आएंगे और कौन कौन से फीचर्स फेडरल में आएंगे. सो दिस इज द एंड ऑफ द लेक्चर. कीप स्टडिंग. हैव अ गुड डे.